let's just segue. The Ravens, right?
Oh yeah, here we go.
So, I mean, we're about to go right into it. So the question is, are they still going to be one dimensional? Are they still? Because if you look at the stats, they were first in rushing yards, third in rushing touchdowns, but dead last in pass yards, pass attempts, pass completions.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we were just talking about it like 5 seconds ago. Their offensive line. So you have Ronnie Stanley, you had Orlando Brown Jr., and you had a couple of like so-so guys in the middle. Now you replace Orlando Brown Jr. with Villanueva, and then
Oof.
now they're starting a rookie who looks like a beast, Ben Cleveland. I'm starting to love this kid. Huge. Are they going to still be one dimensional, or are they going to actually use these receiving weapons that they took? They didn't take well, they spent the entire offseason trying to get and upgrade it. They went after Juju, they went after T.Y. Hilton. We took a stab at Julio, but we came away with Sammy Watkins, Rashod Bateman, and
Oh
Hollywood.
no,
So
that's depressing.
what is going to happen? Are we going to make use of Rashod Bateman and Sammy? And we already had Hollywood and Mark Andrews, obviously, but I feel like I'll speak on it for a second here. I don't think we're going to be as one dimensional. Yes, we're still going to run first. That is who we are. The Lamar, oh, I'm a running back. But I feel like we're going to come closer to what we were in 2019 than 2020. I think we're going to have better passing numbers. It's not going to be a 2019 season because that those numbers were absurd. But I think we are going to pass a little bit more, just not as much as I'd like.
Yeah,
And I just think
I
that's
don't.
mainly because of the chemistry that the lack thereof. Like we just got Sammy, we just got Rashad. So
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just. I mean, Sammy. Like, it's Sammy Watkins. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sammy Watkins hasn't
that's our
shown
number one.
anything. That's your number one. Like, Rashad Bateman's going to be the number one in about 3 weeks. I can almost guarantee you
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
if we're really playing, I mean Hollywood is number one if you look at the depth chart. But I
right.
mean,
Yeah. Exactly. But
that's not saying
he's
that's not good.
that's not how that's he's the number one on the depth chart, but we all know what number one means. That Hollywood's the deep threat. It doesn't necessarily make you the number one. He can't. He doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
He has to have a big season because honestly, like if you like, there's a possibility that one of the reasons why they pass so little is because they don't trust the guys to catch the football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Sammy Watkins pretty sure-handed. Rashad Bateman's extremely sure-handed, at least in college.
Yeah.
And then you have Mark Andrews, of course, who's like a god tier tight end right now. But Hollywood's the question mark. I don't know if I am a
I
fan. I
mean,
gotta be honest. I think it's still gonna be pretty one dimensional.
yeah. I mean, as a like I'm saying, I'm trying my very hardest. I promise you guys, I'm not trying to be biased here. But I mean, you know, I think that Hollywood is yet another bust. I mean, we have
Yeah.
been literally strikeout year after year when we draft receivers. Like I was talking about this in my Discord. I think honestly, our best receiver that was ever drafted, arguably, was maybe Torrey Smith. We always usually get our good receivers through free agency, through
When they're old and washed
and
up,
they're
yeah.
all veterans that we can get at a budget. So Steve Smith, Anquan Bolden,
Surprised you guys
Derek
didn't sign
Mason,
Larry. Surprised you guys haven't signed Larry Fitzgerald
or
yet.
AJ Green, or I mean, there's a bunch of names that could have happened, but they don't want to block, which I don't blame them. So the question is, we try to use money. I was like, okay, well, I think the budget for a receiver this past year was 15 million. I think we threw Juju, I think around 12 to 15, if I'm not mistaken, with what's the word?
Incentives.
Incentives. And obviously, he's not going to reach those incentives because we run the ball too much.
Finesse them.
So, um, with that said, yes, I think you're right. I think we still stay more. I think we're like if we're going to put percentages on this, I think we're going to have like maybe 75% run, 25% pass.
Yeah. And the other reason for that is I'm gonna skip one of the bullet points. We'll go back to it, but Greg Roman. I mean, that's on him, right? Like
Yeah.
he's the one making the decisions down
Yeah.
there.
No, I
Uh,
mean,
if you still have the run heavy offensive coordinator, the odds are going to be very high that you're still going to be run heavy.
yeah. No, I mean, I've had a lot of discussions talking about Greg Roman in the past, talking about he doesn't know how to come up with good routes, and that's why the receivers can't
Yeah.
get open. And we don't know if that's true because we don't have receivers that can actually run the routes.
That's
Like,
true, but
I mean, obviously, go
I feel
ahead.
like you have good route running now, though. Like if Sammy Watkins is good at anything, he is a decent at route running, and then Bateman's a good route runner also.
Right.
So I feel like, I mean, he's not going to have an excuse to not be balanced on offense this year. To be honest with you, like if you
Yeah.
guys are dead last in passing again, you got to go, bro. Get out of here.
It's
It's
just
2021, my guy.
honestly, here's my thing
You got
though.
to have
Like,
5,000 passing yards to win a Super Bowl these days. You can't be out here doing this.
my thing is like, okay, I don't expect Greg Roman to be someone like, I don't know, Eric Bieniemy, like running like
That's
Tyreek
fair. Yeah.
routes.
Right.
However, like I do expect my receivers to get open if he does call a passing play. And like it just they're very basic route combinations,
Yeah.
and it's just like, man, like obviously I'll take Eric Bieniemy any day of the week if we're calling him. Um, but it's just it's I don't know. I mean, I obviously give him another shot, give him the season, see what he does with these new weapons. Maybe another, and then if we can get like, I'll give him 2 seasons max. That's me being super nice. Let him have this season. Okay, we improved because obviously anything from last is an improvement, right? And then maybe
True.
next off season we see what's available in the free agency, and we get a big time receiver. If he still fails, then yeah, get rid of him.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like Greg Roman is like the little 10-year-old weirdos that play Madden that just call run spam and then quick slants.
Yep.
I feel like that's his playbook. He's like,
Yep.
oh shit, it's 3rd and 8, we got to pass, quick slants,
Tight end drag,
tight
or
end, tight end drags.
whatever, something. Yeah, it's very basic stuff.
Hollywood just running a straight line. Hollywood, maybe you'll get open. We'll see what happens.
Now, going back to a previous point that we were going to talk about, so I feel like now even more so, there's more pressure on the offense to work because I believe the defense possibly could have taken a step back because we lost Judon, we lost Unique Ngakwe, we drafted away, which is cool. But the thing that worries me about him is that I don't think he got a single sack last season at Penn State.
Dang.
Like I think there was like a 7 or 8 game stretch where he didn't get a single sack. So I don't know if his ability to get pressure is really there. He's known for being fast. He's a speed pass rusher. But I don't know. I mean that's what Unique was. Unique was that finesse, speedy pass rusher. Can away fill it, but I mean there's still a gap there. Like we didn't fill in both gaps. So now you have Calais away, Derek Wolf, and then you have Brandon Williams on the inside, and then you have I think we let Bowser. So there's a couple of guys that can they still be a top five defensive front? That's the question. So is like if it did take a step back, can the offense take a step forward? And like something like if one side of the ball is weak, you gotta make it up with the other side. Just like the Saints, like you said, what the offense was getting weak, so you gotta pick it up on defense. It might be the
Yeah.
flip for the Ravens. That's what I'm saying.
This was interesting that they like stacked the defensive line last offseason
To stop Derrick Henry.
because yeah, and then they just like reversed it again. I'm
Yeah.
confused by that because like in case they didn't notice, like Derrick Henry and the Titans aren't going anywhere. In fact, they got better. So
If any, yeah, like it's already been proven that you can stop Derrick Henry with that. So why fix what's not broken?
why go back to what didn't stop Derrick Henry the previous
Right.
season? Don't understand that one. But hey, money talks. Hey, what's funny though is they cut all those guys to save cap space and then did exactly what with the money they saved? I mean, they brought in guys. They just signed Jawan James. He can't even play until next year.
Yeah.
No, he's not taking up any money in this cap season,
Yeah,
but
we
still,
signed
it's
him
just
for
like,
five
what do you?
hundred thousand, and then I think as soon as he comes back next year, he's going to get whatever he was guaranteed. I don't know.
Yeah, which is
Eh,
like 9 million. Like, holy shit!
Yeah, 10 million. That's what it was.
Like, that's just.
I think what's
They
happening
obviously
there.
showed an effort at wide receiver, but
Right, right.
I don't know. There's still. It's got to be
I
something
think
out there you can spend your money
Villanueva
on.
is either a temporary replacement until Jawan can get starting, or we might move Villanueva to the inside. I don't know. Whatever. And Eric, I trust, but I think the main question is here with this team is can I know Lamar is tired of hearing about it. Can we overcome the playoffs? yes, we took a step forward. Like we went to the divisional round this year and lost. I mean, we lost in the divisional round when we were 14-2, but they rested the starters that week 17. So
Yeah.
now they learn the lesson. It's like, okay, practice over resting or something like that. I don't think resting your starters is a good idea every time. I guess the question is, can you overcome the divisional round?
Yeah, that's definitely the question. I mean, I guess as long as you don't play the Titans again. No, but yeah, it just depends on. It's all matchup based. I mean, ultimately, you're gonna have to beat the Chiefs at some point.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, the Titans, and the Bills. You gotta beat those teams. So
Yeah.
the Bills, the one-dimensional shit is not gonna work against the Bills.
No,
We just
it
watched that.
it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't
Really
work
didn't.
at all. Not even close. Um.
No, I
So
think
yeah, I
that
don't know.
game was more of like panic mode. Greg Roman trying to call up passing plays that he hasn't called all season, and
Yeah,
obviously, Lamar's
that
getting
was rough.
frustrated trying to force shit. But and then the center was garbage. Hiked it 20 miles over his head. Got concussed
Yeah,
in the
dude.
whatever. Can we beat these? Because if you haven't learned already, in the AFC, there's always going to be that team to beat. Like before, it was Peyton Manning and the Colts, Tom Brady and the Patriots. Okay, they're gone. Okay, now we have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and then we got Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that hurdle, that obstacle. The Ravens are always going to be seen as the underdog in those cases. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't see. Because come playoff time, against either of those teams, you guys are going to be on the road.
Yep.
And I don't see it. I don't,
No.
personally.
To be honest with you as well,
Especially the Chiefs.
yeah. I mean, if we were going to do it at any year, it should have been in 2019 when we had that first seed
Yes.
and divisional round. That's when it should have happened.
Yeah, I agree.
That was the biggest window. There's nothing like
I
that
agree.
first bye break, bro.
Yeah,
But,
Derrick Henry came in there and shut that down.
and made me cry for a week.